G'day race fans, it's Adrian here. Welcome back to Just a Ride. Let's pull up the old story chair, shall we? Come on down, gather around the campfire. Broken chair, hey? Big boy. Alright guys, I want to take you on a journey. 2004, long time ago now, right? Oof, long time. August the 14th, 2004, I was riding to downhill mountain bike and had been for maybe 3 years at this point. And I, with a few friends, started to get into these little local races. And we're at one of these particular, I was by myself this particular day. I was at one of these events on a Saturday. Yeah, Saturday the 14th of August, mark the calendar. I was competing there. It was a one-day event, a couple of practice runs, have some lunch, and then you have one bang-out timed run. I was never too good at this, to be honest. The nerves of the time always got me. Much rather just ride for the fun of riding. But I was out at Bow Desert, for those taking notes, a little place called Magpie Creek, and I was doing my practice runs in the morning, where it's sort of open and free and everyone's ripping in, and I came across a little rock garden with what I knew to be a ledge over the other side of it. I'd done the ledge rock drop a few times. I came in on this practice run by myself too. It was a bit silly, downhill mountain biking by yourself. I came through this rock garden with not enough pace. I did the rock drop off. It was like 4 or 5, 6 feet, I don't know. It wasn't too big, it wasn't huge. But it wasn't, and I didn't have enough momentum or pace, and I was a bit offline, and I landed sweet right at the base of a big ass rock. The bike just stopped. The bike compressed, dual suspension compressed completely. I compressed, and then we all recoiled. I just got pitched over the bars and landed on the back of my head, which then crushed my neck into my chest, where I broke C1 and C7. I didn't lose consciousness at all. It was the craziest thing. I remember hitting the ground, knowing that my neck had just been squished, and this is before the days of braces, which I wear religiously, dirt biking. I knew it was a huge hit. I slid down the ground, at the end of the momentum, facing the ground, sort of on my hands and knees, and the wind knocked out at me big time. Big bell ringer, can't really hear anything, but didn't lose consciousness. And within seconds, I remember, still hadn't moved yet. I remember looking down into my full face helmet, and it is just, the grill of it is filling with blood out of my nose and mouth. That was shocking to have happen, and probably 10 times more shocking to witness. I looked a mess at the end of it, basically. But yeah, got myself up, sort of gathered myself for a couple of minutes, knew that it was a massive hit, but I just kind of had that shock, I suppose, where it was like, okay, I need to get back on the push bike. Yeah, with a broken neck. And I didn't ride the track down to the parked car. I rode the fire trail. Thought that was the easier option with a broken neck. Rode down with my helmet on my arm, and got to the car, looking in a state, feeling really shit at this point. I was as white as a sheet with the course of blood over the front of me. And I so happened to across a good buddy who wasn't racing that day. That's why I was there alone, because he had busted his knee a few weeks earlier. So he comes cruising past with his lovely wife in the Kingswood, looking at me at the back of the car going, oh, there's AIDS. He doesn't look good. He subsequently then got me in the Kingswood. We drove to the Gold Coast Hospital. That was, I don't know, Bow Desert, the Gold Coast Hospital, 15 years ago, bumpy roads. It felt like 4 hours, but it was probably about 40 minutes. Where I get to the hospital, shock's starting to set in, and I'm petrifiedly scared of what just happened. But I'm confused. I'm a bit stern-headed in the sense of, well, I can still do this. And I walked into ER, holding my head, admittedly. But I walked into ER. I don't have a broken neck, because when you break your neck, you can't move. So I was like, it's not broken. Just, you know, give me a Panadol, I'll be right, sort of ego. Didn't work well. And then I, get checked into ER. No wait time for a cervical spine injury. Thank you. Straight through. That's a bit of advice for you people. You don't want to wait around the hospital. Just do your neck. Straight through. Team of doctors on me. Scans and whatnot. X-rays. They couldn't really pinpoint the problem, but they knew that it was pretty damn serious. And so yeah, they kept me the first night not really knowing what had happened, and the second day they obviously did some different scans in different areas, whatever. They had determined, and I was told this, you know, with like 6 or 7 doctors at the foot of my bed, that I had broken my neck. And there's 2 recourses that I have. It's the assistance of an apparatus called the halo vest or halo brace, or we fuse the busted spine pieces to good pieces of spine. You'll lose some rotation, and I did C1 and C7, which is it's like I bookend my neck. So the range that I was prepared, or what I was going to lose, I was told, was far too drastic for me. I'm like 29 and I'm a kid at heart. I'm 44 now and I'm still a kid. So you can imagine how much of a child I was at 29. I wasn't prepared to lose that much range for the rest of my life. So this crazy medieval hardcore torture device came into play, the halo vest. I was given a small brochure on this little, this little crazy thing, sort of, medically certified little booklet, pamphlet, if you will, just with some drawings of what the installation of this thing, the wearing of this thing, the living with this thing, and then the extraction of this thing. And I remember flicking through this booklet going, I can see why they drew pictures, because to actually have to witness it or capture it being done live, like I said, medieval torture device. So I kind of felt I only had one option, and that was the halo brace. So I was like, yep, put this bloody thing on me. They're like, okay, we haven't got one right now, but it'll be here tomorrow. Lay in the bed, don't move. You have a broken neck, sir. Me still to find 2-3 days in, just going, I can still move my fingers and toes. What are they talking about? They're tripping. You can do damage to your neck and still, luckily, be able to be dexterous. So, I waited the 2 days for this apparatus to come. When it got there, I was prepped. Just about to go on there, I could hear the murmurs in the operating room that it's the wrong size. Sorry, champ, we'll try this tomorrow. Back up to the room, another night, just laying with a plastic collar on. And then the day comes, we've got the one, it's the right size, we assure you it's the right size, mate. Let's go. I'm in the prep room. Code blue. Every doctor stopped what he was doing to, obviously, and I respect that, triage and all, someone needed some assistance, so putting a halo on a dude that has already spent a couple of days and he seems to be relatively stable, he'll wait for tomorrow. So it was like the 4th day, I think, or the 5th day, I finally got the halo on, and this is done with me absolutely as wide awake as I am right now. And they screw, let me, if I may, 4 of those into your skull. I still have remnants of it now. Was it, 16 years later? So there was one there, and there was one each just behind my ear. When I shave my head, you can still see a divot. It feels manky. It's but yeah, that was the pin that went into my skull as I was wide awake. They locally anaesthetised the area where the bolt was going in, but just the local anaesthetic in and of itself was ridiculous pain. You had the it numbed the initial bite of something getting screwed into your head, but it didn't relieve the pressure that they use. Like, I can remember laying down, looking up at this doctor with his bloody blue gloves on, and I could see the sinews in his forearm like turning up and bulging as he's implying the force to put that 1/4-inch bolt into my skull. Yeah. Woo! That's a moment that doesn't leave you. It's I'm proud I've got it. It was hectic to live, but you know, it's a badge of honour now. So I had 4 of those. They went in, and the adjustments on the brace. You know, you've got this hard perspex thing from just above your navel, with, let's call it, scaffolding poles up to literally a ring, a halo, that's, you know, screwed into your skull. And the weight of your head is supported off of your shoulders, on the vest, Velcro straps on them, and a hard perspex body. And the weight of your head on your shoulders to wear for any time is extraordinary. You don't realise how bloody heavy your head is, people. So yeah, when they initially told me of this, and they handed me that medieval little pamphlet that was hand drawn, they said to me, it's 3 to 6 months, mate. That's what we recommend. That's always been our ballpark. And of course the doctors say, oh, I had a patient last month that got out after 2 months. They always try to, you know, boost you. God bless them. So I did 9 months. Yeah, a bit longer than 6. And that was all, I honestly feel, in hindsight now, due to my mental application early doors. Like, you know, the first 3 days laying in hospital bed, I was like, I don't have a broken neck. These guys are tripping. It was just a big hit. But nah, I was right, it was a big hit. it was a big hit, and I broke my neck. So I had this apparatus on. I spent another day and a half after it was bolted in hospital. Get kicked out. I ran out. I wanted to go. I could move at that point. I was still stiff because I had a massive hit, you know, 5 days earlier. But off to home, where I lived by myself, and it was just getting to a new normal. You know, like you know, doing that, not happening. You know, these straps on this vest applying so much pressure on your shoulders that's as high as you can get. You know, you're showering from like the waist down at best, you know, with the little hose rose off the shower. Sleeping sort of sitting up in bed. You couldn't lie down, because if you ever got your head suspended freely, horizontally, within the 4 beams of the cage, you know, there's no pillow touching the back of your head. You could just, the bolt sides would just be throwing at you, you know. So sleeping was pretty hard. But it was like I said, it was having to find a new normal, and you know, and just digging harder than I've ever dug before. I surprised myself with how deep that I did dig. You know, in this 9-month journey, I worked. Bless my employer at the time. I worked sort of part time. I basically did 3/4 of a day, half a day to 3/4 of every day. They said, whenever you're tired, Adrian, just call it and you can bounce. And I would sort of get to lunch each day, and just the physical exertion of being on my feet with this bloody apparatus on I was like, it was running a marathon for 6 hours. So don't think I ever lasted the full days, but I would then bounce, and I'd usually at times have to walk home. I was probably about 3-4 Ks from work at the time, which was all right, but you know, you've exhausted. And now you've got to walk 4 Ks home, you know, like you just find a new normal, right? You know, you dig in. I was lucky enough, the start of each work day was with a work colleague who'd pick me up, because I would start at the same time everybody else did. I would just bounce earlier. So my pickup from work was from a really good mate of mine who, you know, I was proud to work alongside and have for years, and don't work alongside him now, but still keep in contact, love him like a brother and mentor. He would pick me up each morning, and he's a stand-up, straight Aussie shooting bloke, yeah, and and this was 15 years ago, probably not in the current climate where, you know, we talk about mental health, and you know, men can expose an emotion in front of other men. I remember getting picked up one morning going to work from Jethro, and I remember turning to him. I just had a couple of crap days. It was some struggling. You know, it was 3 months into 9 months, and I didn't turn to Jeff, obviously, because you know I was sitting in the passenger seat next to him, and I had tears streaming down my face, and I remember saying, Jeff, mate, I can't dig any deeper. I'm at my limit. And that was 3 months. That was 3 months in. I dug for 6 more months. You know, like, I'm so proud of myself that I achieved that, you know, that I dug that deep. Sorry, guys. Where was I? Digging deep. Yeah, just, you know, you think you're at your wit's end with where you're at right now, and the only reason I'm sharing this is because there's so much craziness in the world, isn't there? You know, like, there's crazy COVID-19 stuff, and, you know, I'm straight yesterday, 28 hours ago, I lost my job, you know, not through COVID-19 either, which was even more shocking. But, you know, there's tough times ahead, but they're not impossible times, you know, like live in a cage for 3 months, you know. The second night I was at home, like maybe fourth night it was on. The second night I was at home, I remember having this panic attack, laying in bed, trying to get some sleep, you know. I'm sitting up, every pillow I've got and all the pillows my family and friends gave me, and I had this shallow breaths, tiny breaths, that's all I could do, and I started to freak out, and this vest that's on me, I'm thinking, geez, this thing is squeezing me up, you know, I'm suffocating, I can't get that in, you know, and this just spiraled within seconds. I remember this, and it straight was a panic attack. I'm in a cage. You can visually see these posts in your field of vision so easily, you know, like there's no hiding from it, you know. And I'm in this cage, and I've got this shortness of breath, you know, on the second night that I'm at home, and I'm alone, and I'm freaking out, and I'm thinking, wow, this is how I die. You know, it's not the it's not the launching of a rock on a bike. It's the, you know, it's my own mind telling me I'm about to die. So I know it's a bloody powerful tool, this mind of ours, people, but you've got to switch it into the positive. Yeah, you've got to go blue skies and open roads to get through this, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So living with it, those first few months, I wasn't accepting of, still not sort of 2-3 months in, still not accepting of the fact that this has happened and I have to wear this apparatus, and each month I would go and get a scan on one particular day, and then like 2 days after the scan I'd go back up to the hospital and sit in the huge waiting room and get called into the small waiting room, and they would discuss with me what they saw in the scan from 2 days ago. And the first 3 scans, so that's the first 3 months, it genuinely, even the doctors were saying, no, hang on, give me the most recent scan, not the first scan, the most recent scan. That was the most recent scan. 3 months in my head going, this is bullshit, I don't want this thing on, I don't have a broken neck, get this thing off, this is some sort of torture device, it's a sick joke, people, get it off, you know, I'm losing my mind. The first 3 scans, they were the same. 1, 2, 3, power of the mind. And the next couple of scans, I was like, okay, this is a sick joke that someone else has control of. I'm just going to be the patsy and wear it for as long as it needs to wear. And then that kind of turned into, hey man, you've seriously messed yourself up and you need this. And starting thinking more positively, and you could see that in the next subsequent 2 and 3 scans after that. It's like, oh, it's growing a bit, it's, you know. And then I remember getting to the 6th month, and I kind of had this, well, I've had 2 good months. They said to me at the start, it's 3 to 6 months, I'm at 6 months. And 6 months comes along, and it just still wasn't ridgy-ditch. It was signs of improvement, but wasn't perfect. And then 7 months, and then the 8th month, I remember going in and they were like, hey man, you've been in this thing 8 months. That last scan, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And just through pride and honour, I was like, it wasn't, I didn't even hesitate to say, can I have another month? Just let me have it another month. And I did that last month, and boom, all the bones healed up, closed up. Boom, this thing's coming off. I remember that. It was actually a answering machine, old school. It was an answering machine message on my landline phone that I got when I got back from work that day on the 9th month. After the 9th month scan, I didn't even have the appointment. It was them calling me saying, there's no appointment, Adrian. The appointment is on whatever day, in a few days prior to this, was going to be the day that I'm coming in and they're taking it off. And that was such a joyous moment. The answering machine message from the doctor saying, yeah, but we're all happy, Adrian, you can come in on Thursday afternoon and we'll take it off Friday morning and we're good to go. And at this point, I was so honour and just stubborn pride driven. They were offering me the painkillers, whatever it was going to be, to get this, same thing, right? They take it off when you're awake, they put it on when you're awake. And I was like, for my own soul, I was like, this thing had given me so much, it had tested me so hard. I sort of felt duty and honour bound to it. You take it off and no drugs, I want to feel it all of it. That little pin coming out of your skull. Whew, that's I'll have that forever. I'm so proud of that. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's digging in, yeah? Just dig in. Find a new normal. You know, I wanted to feel this thing unscrewing out of my skull. Initially the skin's sort of all grown around it too, so that snaps, and then the calcification of the bone comes out of the bolt. And it's this, I'm proud I did it. It made me a man. It's at 29. So this came off it was about 3 weeks before my 30th birthday. And I kind of had this little, Neil Armstrong premeditated one small step for man quote that I was bouncing around in here for the last sort of month or so with the halo on. And when the halo came off, I was in the ward too. It was like 6 other dudes. The curtain was drawn, but 6 other dudes heard this. And it would have been an experience just in and of itself, because I wasn't shy with the yelling and the screaming and the yoo-hooing. It was, my premeditated little Neil Armstrong bit was this Dr. Neil, I forget his last name now, it kills me. I've got his information still. You're with me, buddy. He's only a couple of years older than me too. He's the dude who put it on. The same dude takes it off. And I say to him, as I'm standing up off the bed, and I've got the plastic collar on, it's just a precaution. But the blood and the nurse trying to mop the blood up and the stinky, non-washed hair. I remember shaking this doctor's hand and saying, 9 months ago you put a halo on a boy and you just took a halo off a man. I'm proud to say that drew emotion out of the doctor. because he realised the validity of, sort of where I was coming from ethically. Would you like some painkillers, Adrian? No, not at all. I need to experience this all. I want to see it all, So, this is just derived from digging in and staying positive, accept you've got a broken neck and the bones heal. So, accept there's a worldwide crisis, shit's going down, people are dying, governments are doing stupid things. I've lost my job. I'll get another one. But, just stay strong, Peace out. Be safe. Be happy.